first grade. How's everybody doing today? It's Mrs. Cuneo. We are here in an extra bedroom in the basement of Mrs. Cuneo's house, and I hope everyone is doing well. I miss seeing all of your happy, smiling faces every day, and I'm excited to teach you a reading mini lesson. In our most recent unit, Meeting Characters and Learning Lessons, we have learned a few things already that I wanted to review because it has been a long time. Off we go. Readers go on adventures. Get ready, take a sneak peek. You can learn a lot from a book by looking at the front and the back cover. Predict what might happen next. We learned that last week, and that was one of your reading assignments to do on your books, is to jot down what you think might happen next throughout your stories. Today, I want to teach you to retell important parts. When we retell important parts of a book, it helps us to understand what we have read and also helps us to remember. I'm going to be using today our demonstration text, Iris and Walter and the Field Trip. So some of you might have read this, some of you might not have read this, some of you might forget because it's been a long time since you read this, but that's okay. I'm going to model and demonstrate for you what I would like you to do as part of your reading assignment this week. So you could do this whether you have a text in your hands like I do, or if you are reading a book on Epic. And the first thing that I want you to do is to mark important parts that happen in the story. So there's a few ways that you can do this. Let's say you have a hard copy of a book in your hands. You could go through and use a Post-it note to mark important parts. The teacher told the class that they were going on a field trip. That was a very important and exciting part of the story. So I'm going to mark that with my star Post-it note. Then, as the story goes on, another important part that happened is the children all arrive at the aquarium on their field trip. And everyone gets there and everyone is very excited to have arrived on their field trip. So I'm going to mark that part with my Post-it note with a star. Continuing on in the story, then Iris is having so much fun looking at the cute penguins. And she looks over and she realizes that Walter is missing. So that is another very important part of the story. So I will mark that with my Post-it note so when I'm all done reading, I can remember the important parts of my story. Okay, next, as they're going along and he's lost, Miss Cherry, the teacher, and Iris, Walter's best friend, look everywhere for Walter. Walter, Walter, they're calling him. They're trying to find him. So I marked that as an important part. Then hopefully you are predicting what is going to happen if you're somebody who hasn't read this story already. Then Miss Cherry and Iris find Walter and they're so happy. They hug him. Walter, Walter, we're so happy that we found you. And so I'm going to also mark that as an important part in my story with a Post-it note. Then at the very end, everyone arrives back to school and the grandfather picks up Walter, and Walter had such a fun time. He didn't even realize that he had gotten lost and everyone was to the school safe. So that's the first thing that I want you to do whenever you are retelling the important parts in a story. So a few things. If you don't have Post-it notes at your house, that's okay. You could do what I just did and just write down the page numbers. It doesn't have to be on a Post-it note, on any old piece of paper that you have laying around your house. You could write down 5 or 6 page numbers that will help you when you're done to identify the important parts of the story. Or if you are reading your book on Epic, you could also do that. You could also just, every time you come to an important part, jot down that part or that page number to help you remember. Okay, so far, give me a thumbs up if you understand and you're with me. All right, awesome. So the next part of the assignment, after you have marked all of your important parts, you notice I did 6. I would say to try to aim for 5 or 6 important parts. The next thing you can do is to make a fun little retelling book. And I made this here at my house. I used 2 pieces of computer paper, copy paper, plain paper, doesn't matter, any kind of paper you have. I used 2 pieces of it, and I fold them into fourths, and then I cut them, and then I stapled it down the front to make this really cute little retelling book. Now, I want to add modifications because sometimes maybe you don't have a stapler at your house, maybe you don't have the paper, maybe you can't find scissors, or you can't find your stapler, or you're out of staples. Those things happen at my house too. So I made a modification just in case you are not able to make a cute little book like this. You can use a cute little just piece of paper and divide it into fourths and just number your squares 1, 2, 3, 4. And you could make 1 or 2 pieces of paper like that, just in case you don't have your stapler. So now I'm going to show you, and this is going to be your assignment this week in reading, is to make a retelling booklet. I want you to do this at least once, make one little book for any of your reading assignments that you have done. And if you have time, or if you were able to, you could try and make another 1 or 2 with your books, but I'm requiring you to try to do 1 at least. All right, so here is my little retelling book. And remember, I used all of the Post-it notes where I starred the important parts in the story. So I used that, and I'm going to show you the model that I made for you. Iris, you see it, Iris and Walter and the field trip. So there's my cover page. And then remember, the first important part was Miss Cherry told the class that they were going on a field trip. So then you have your own little mini book. The class arrived at the aquarium. Iris was looking at the penguins and Walter got lost. Iris is not happy. Walter! Iris and Miss Cherry look everywhere for Walter. They find Walter! Yay! And everybody is happy once again. And then the end of the story, they all return safely home to school. And you can see there, everybody is home. There's the bus. And that is a cute little retelling booklet that you can make at home. Now, you could even do this without your parents' help. You can pick a book that you want to read, either on Epic or any of your books that you have from the library or just from your own house. And you can create and retell the important parts. And I can't wait to see some pictures of what you have done. And happy reading. I hope you have so much fun. As always, don't hesitate to contact any of the first grade teachers if you have any questions. And happy reading. Miss you guys. Love you so much. I think about you every day, and I miss you.